Hey guys, welcome to RX Gaming. This is Deadman here, bringing you the founder of Tamil Nadu Dota League, Mr. Karthik. What's up, bro?
Hi man, what's up? How are you?
I'm good. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself? What about your
Y-
gaming history and how did you come about this league?
yeah, sure, dude. I've been playing games ever since I was a kid. Like, I started playing like Pokemon back in 2000 on the Game Boy and stuff.
Okay.
And obviously, that transferred into like Counter Strike, CS 1.6. In the good old days, we used to play at all these gaming cafes.
Uh-huh.
And then that became Dota eventually. And for some reason, it just never left. Like, we love playing it. All my friends are into it. So, I've been playing games almost my whole life.
Awesome.
And yeah,
How did it come to it that you wanted to create this league and what about that?
yeah. So I've been following competitive Dota since like 2011, 2010, ever since TI started.
Okay.
And I was also studying abroad at the time. I was studying in London. And like competitive esports started becoming really popular all over Europe. But for some reason, in India, it never took off to the same scale.
Yeah.
And like I've always been following Dota competitively uh, for the past 10 years. But after I moved back to India also in 2014, and I started playing as much as I could locally. But obviously, the prize money and things like that was never enough for it to be a sustainable career.
True, true.
And I noticed that most of the really good players here are always like they always have like a full-time job, and then only in their spare time they get to like practice or like squeeze in whatever few tournaments they can play here and there,
Yeah.
but they could never really pursue it as a profession.
Okay.
um, so I wanted to sort of start something and build up this community to sort of make it a mainstream profession, something that people could earn money on a daily basis playing.
Yeah, I think that's what every player in India also wants, at least every esports player. But I
Yeah.
think in that regard, Dota has fallen behind. Dota had one of its best years in 2019. Now it's having its worst years in India in
Yeah.
2020. I think
Yeah.
one of the what you touched up upon uh, about why it didn't take off in India like you saw it in other places. I guess it's
Mhm.
accessibility too, right?
Yeah. So, like for example, even in our last tournament that we held in May, we had to pause many times during almost every single match, just because one player would have like internet problems or there'd be a power cut, and these kind of issues are like rampant even today. And from a competitive scene, this can make or break an entire tournament. Lose like thousands of rupees in this case. If it was professional, even like thousands and thousands of dollars because there was a power cut in your area or something like that.
True, and that can't be helped by anyone.
Yeah, exactly. So I think, yeah. So these kind of infrastructural problems are like something that need to be addressed, and probably one of the biggest reasons esports hasn't taken off as like a mainstream sort of profession here,
Hmm.
because you can't get the
So,
daily practice that you need.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So what do you hope to achieve by this league, basically? I think what you've spoken about is more on a macro level. I'd like to know more on this league basis, or do you have plans of hosting more coming?
Yeah, so this league
Mm-hmm.
originally started as like a community project because,
Okay.
obviously during the lockdown, everyone was stuck at home.
Yeah.
Not many people were working their usual day-to-day jobs, and we saw like a sudden resurgence in all these Dota friends coming back and getting back into the game. So I
True.
decided to hold like a little community tournament, and obviously I did it for Tamil Nadu because I know most of the players here. Like having played some
Uh-huh.
local tournaments myself, you tend to meet the same people, and
True.
you sort of form this like network. So it was easy to get participants that way for the first tournament, which is what we needed to sort of generate some interest. But slowly, but obviously, there's like a ripple effect, and more people start coming together to participate.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's what we were hoping to do through this tournament.
Uh, I think this is the second tournament this year, if not third, for Dota 2.
Okay.
And previously, people, I think, uh, the people who are playing in your tournament this uh, second season,
Hmm.
they wouldn't play for a lower price pool.
Hmm.
Like, but this time around, since there are no Dota 2, other Dota 2 tournaments, people have no other choice, literally. But this is, uh, I think it's maybe this is the way we revive the scene in India.
Yeah, so in a way it's good and in a way it's bad, like when you get big players involved. So I think the reason Dota 2 is dying is because obviously there's a lack of viewership and sponsors start pulling out. So without prize money, without big tournaments, the scene is obviously going to drop. So that's why we offered low prize pool tournaments just to get like local people involved, local talent, build a community. Because if you have a
Yeah,
strong community, you can keep bringing back, or you can bring a league system in that will run again and again. And as long as you have the
yeah,
participation, that's good enough to keep it going and to build it from there. You know, you're starting with like the grassroots with the base level, and then you can build up to a more professional level. So yeah, so the problem with big players coming in is like really professional players is that it sort of scares all the other people who would have otherwise participated, like the weaker teams. Um, but it's also good because it kind of brings in a bit more viewership and a bit more recognition to this tournament. And
yeah.
it's a bit unfortunate, obviously, because we're the only ones offering prize money, they want to participate. And I'm honestly very glad to see good and exceptional talent participate in our tournament. I think it makes amazing content, and it's good to sort of spread this kind of awareness of good players in our own country.
True, it does. I feel like each of us have a part to play
Yeah,
ourselves
yeah.
in the way it grows.
Hmm.
So tell me about the format at which these guys are playing, because I've heard rumors or more like the previous tournament was a month long,
Hmm.
and how is this one gonna be?
Yeah, so the previous tournament, like I said, our main goal was community development. Like we wanted to bring the community together, get people to know other players, develop that sort of like rivalry and that kind of drama that happens in tournaments. And so we have a league system where basically every team played against every other team that registered, and then top eight would get put into the top eight would qualify for knockouts, and then there was
Okay,
upper bracket, lower bracket, and the usual knockout style.
okay. So
Yeah,
so it's
but
the same this time.
no. So the problem last time was
Okay,
the thing is, as more teams joined, the number of games that happen in the group stage increases drastically. So
okay,
we had
yeah,
13 teams last time, and with 13 teams, we had to conduct 78 matches for the group stage.
crazy.
And if there were 20 teams, to have around 170 matches, and that's basically really hard to do.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
so we had to cut registration short last time, and we had to cap it at 13.
okay,
But this time we're
okay,
encouraging more teams to participate, and we changed the format a bit so that we can accommodate more participation. So we split it into smaller groups where everyone plays
okay.
everyone again. But obviously this time
Mm-hmm.
you won't play as many matches because the groups are split. But
Yeah.
everyone will qualify to the knockouts because in
Mm-hmm.
case there are too many strong teams in one group, we don't want them to be like knocked out in a group stage where there are really strong opponents. So instead, we made it so that everyone qualifies to a knockout, but the top
Okay.
four in each group will be upper bracket, and the bottom four will be
Okay.
lower bracket. So even if a strong team is in a strong group, they still
Okay.
can make it through the lower bracket run in the knockout
Oh
stage.
yeah. So there's no elimination in group stages.
No, there's no elimination. The group stage is purely to determine who gets in the upper and lower bracket for the knockouts.
Awesome. Sounds good. I think players who are just getting into the scene will also get to play a lot more matches because of this. Usually, how it goes in tournaments is you just go there like for your first, second time, and you get knocked out every
Yeah,
round. Every first round you play for a long period of
yeah.
time, and that's That's really frustrating
Yeah,
for people, and they probably will quit
yeah.
in that sense
Yeah,
also.
so India, I mean, personally, from what I've seen is like people tend to know a lot of good players around their level or slightly higher level or lower that they play with on a daily basis. But when it comes to
Yeah,
tournaments, they tend to just form a team on a whim. You know, like maybe 1 or 2 weeks they say, oh, you know, five of us are really strong. Let's just get together and play.
yeah,
And they
yeah,
don't end up having the kind of teamwork that you normally want in a tournament. And
yeah,
most
true.
tournaments end up being like a direct knockout format where you lose a match and then
Yeah,
you're kicked out. And so the team
yeah,
immediately is like, oh, actually, we're not that good together, and they fall apart. But here, at least,
true,
you know,
true.
you're forced to play a few matches together. And even if things don't
Yeah,
work out in one game, chances are they might work out in another. So, you know, you start learning about each other, your strengths and weaknesses in a competitive scene. And that I think that helps you sort of discover talent and, you know, grow the scene from a grassroots level. Maybe it's actually interesting, dude. Like after we started doing this tournament, we get a lot of like I've been getting a lot of messages, at least through like Instagram and stuff, where people are just like, "Oh, bro, are you gonna host like COD tournaments? Are you gonna host League of Legends tournaments?" And like you know, people want to play competitively. It's just I think there's just not enough opportunity for them to do that.
like everybody wants to play, but not many people want to watch. I guess I guess it comes down
Hmm.
to the storylines that are created for people to actually start
Hmm.
watching, and for that to
Yeah,
happen, there should be a constant competitive scene for a storyline to even
yeah.
be created, right?
Yeah, dude, it's actually really crazy. Our last tournament had like an amazing
Yeah.
story. The team that won was a complete
Uh-huh.
underdog, and
Didn't
they so last time we had a
didn't
different
SSK and
registration
Chopper win?
format. No, dude,
Okay.
they didn't even make it to the finals. They
Oh
lost in the
yeah?
semis.
Okay.
Yeah,
Crazy.
yeah, yeah. So in fact, they actually got completely knocked out in one day. They lost upper bracket, and then they got lost lower bracket immediately after.
Crazy.
Yeah, and a complete underdog team. They have this like new mid player
Uh-huh.
called Dark X from
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Bombay
I
or
know
something.
Dartex, yeah.
Yeah, so Dark X was playing their mid, and I mean, they also had two other good players, but it was so good to watch. Crazy story.
Nice.
They played against
Yeah, yeah,
Osho's
yeah.
team in the final and beat
Okay.
them.
Awesome. I hope the best for the league in the future.
Okay, thanks, dude.
And that's about it. Thanks a lot,
Okay,
Karthik.
awesome. Yeah, thanks